this could go on a question and answer, or maybe this is just something new I might do. We'll call them fireside chats. I don't know. Anyway, Joel H. This time of year, I start getting a lot of questions about the villages. Everybody comes down in the fall and the winter months that's considering buying here, and they're either renting something for a month or two or three, or they do a lot of lifestyle visits in the winter. They want to come down in the winter months, and I understand that. They get away from the little bit of the cold up north and come down here and see what it's like in the winter. So anyway, Joel, J-O-E-L-H. It says, thank you for your videos. I was at the villages last month to look at mobile homes and plan on retiring September of 2021. I'll be 51 years old. Well, congratulations on being able to retire at 51 years old. Here are some possible questions for future videos. Trust me, I don't need help with questions. I get 100 of them a day. But if they're your questions, I'll be glad to answer them. It says, I am only 51. Will it be something residents don't like as I am too young and don't fit in? I've answered this question before, but I'll answer it again. The answer to that is no. A lot of it is your attitude more than anything. If you're a 50, let me tell you this. You're moving into you're moving into the oldest area of the villages. That should tell you that the average age in that area is older than probably anywhere else in the villages, the average age. Now, that being said, there's a turnover up there starting. Been doing it for a few years. The older people up there are disappearing, and younger people are buying those houses and moving in. So there's kind of a changeover. Also in that area up there, as you saw, the village's development property area, our people are buying a lot of them older modulars and trailers up there and moving them out, getting rid of them. And they're building homes up there to kind of clean it up, so to speak. You're 51 years old. You also don't say if you're going to be a full-timer or a part-timer. Buy a new home. Because when you go buy a new home, you and everybody in the neighborhood's new, and it's just a better fit, especially for younger people. Because the newer area, generally speaking, is younger people. And that's just my suggestion. Also, the modular homes and house trailers up there. Remember, you're in a hurricane area down here. I don't know about the insurance. You might want to check in on that too. Find out, can you get insurance on them older units up there? I've heard stories about people having a hard time sometimes keeping the insurance they got because there's restrictions. Once it gets to a certain age, they don't want to insure them anymore. Some insurance companies in Florida has totally gotten out of modular homes and house trailers and those types of units altogether. They don't insure them at all. So the ones that do insure, and I know there's companies that do, so the ones that do insure them, you might want to check the rates and find out what they're going to charge you. Because I don't know that either. I mean, there's a lot of things up there I don't know. But if you're considering buying one of those, you ought to check on that and find out, how much it's going to cost to get insurance up there. I don't know. As far as the residents go, I don't think most residents care one way or the other. The only thing that I think residents would care about, and it happens up there, is if somebody tries to move in an 8-year-old grandchild in their home full time. That's against the district rules. And then, a lot of people retired didn't move down here to live in a family neighborhood. They got family neighborhoods in the villages. That's where you buy if you're going to have kids living full time. But up there is not one of them. And so that's the problem. Or visitors that come down, and this happens everywhere, but it happens there a lot, that come down at Christmas time or whatever from wherever they're from, and they're drunk and they're loud and they go to the adult swimming pools and they cause trouble, and they're just, it's just a problem, for a retirement community. And remember, this is a retirement community. This is not a vacation spot, which a lot of people use it for that. This is a retirement community to play golf and pickleball and all the old stuff that you can imagine, and people, having a good time with their neighbors and relaxing and doing their thing. But we have rules, and you as a visitor, the resident of that visitor, has to see to it that that visitor knows what those rules are, and see to it that they follow those rules. Or otherwise, there could be a problem. I'm told there are many part-time jobs in the villages, but they are low paying. Yes. Is that true? Yes. I had them. And it's barely above minimum wage, beer money, so to speak. And they won't work you 40 and 50 hours a week either. You can forget that, especially at 51. It affects a lot of things. For a guy like me, I retired at 62 and a half. So I could only make so much money a year. Otherwise, Social Security started taking dollar for dollar the Social Security back. At 65, you can make as much as you want, and there's no penalty. But at 62, there was. So, yeah, they watch that. And for me, and depending on what job you get, they all have their rules. The CDD would work us, I'm trying to think, it's been such a long while, I want to say 4 days on, 4 days off. And each day was 6-hour days. So 4 days on was 24 hours. And then 24 hours off, 4 days off. And then you're on 4 days, and that's 24 hours. And then you're off. So you can see how the days keep moving forward as far as your days off go, and then it kind of overlaps and stuff. And the golf ambassadors, that's not my village's job. You go up to, I think it's Spanish Springs up there at the exercise area. I can't remember what it's called. It's on the second floor up there. That's where you put in your application. And they have a whole thing of their own of what they do. And I'm thinking those might even be 3 days on, and then 4 days off, and then 3 days on. I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, but yeah. I don't care what part-time job you go after. They're all barely above minimum wage. If you are some kind of a professional, like maybe a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer or anything like that, you could probably do a whole lot better finding a job working somewhere. Also know that in the villages, one of the rules are you're not allowed to have a home business of any kind. I know people do, but eventually they get caught. Somebody will complain about it because of traffic problems, people parking on the street, all this kinds of stuff. And then they got you. Once they know what you're doing, then they got you. And then it's a process that they go through to get you to stop doing that. And I don't know what the total process is, but I know that they got a process. And they'll probably just harass you, until you just stop doing whatever it is you're doing. I was told I can get a roommate, and there are plenty of people looking that are workers, as there are so few affordable apartments, etc. A roommate. Maybe it's just me, but if you're going to retire, why do you need a roommate? Nah, I'm thinking that maybe you need to find somewhere else to go, because this sounds like troublesome stuff to me. If I get cats, a small dog, can I install a fence in the backyard? No. Fences are not allowed unless you buy a house that was built new with the fence by the developer. Then you're in. Like down in the Finney area, you can buy verandas. You can buy some designer homes, and I'm not sure what else they got down there, that come with a fenced-in backyard. Those are okay. But if you have a house that does not come with a fence, unless you go to the Architectural Review Committee and get permission, written permission to install a fence, which you're not going to get, no, you cannot have a fence. By the way, one of the village rules, as you mentioned cats, that all pets outside your house has to be on a leash. All pets. That includes cats. Okay, Vic, I hope that helps you out a little bit. Do yourself a favor at 51 if you're going to retire, and you're going to come down and look for a part-time job. That's all well and good. And if whether you buy up there or buy in Finney, it don't make no difference. That's all good too. But the idea of having to have a roommate, I don't know what you mean by that. That sounds fishy to me. JNA Fix 1. Sidestep, I've been working on the village's monthly expense budget with the help of yours and other YouTube videos. Very helpful. I'm having trouble with the CDD fees. I understand what it is and that it will vary by district. So can you tell me, is it rolled into your yearly taxes or do you pay it monthly? You know, Sue ought to be here for this, but I'm almost sure it's part of your property tax fees. It's all in the same thing. There's several things in there that's included in your property taxes. One is your bond payment. That comes with the tax bill. And I think those maintenance fees and things like that's all part of the tax bill. It ain't property taxes, but it's part of the tax bill. And so you'll pay that, like, I think once a year, whatever it may be. I think here where I'm at, it's in the neighborhood of like $150 a year. It's not a big deal. Hopefully that helps. See you later, Joe. See you on the other side.